Be cool, be kind, be classy. A cupcake so sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions and lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. There's a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Stack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterway. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Machegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcake's sweet and sassy. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
All right. Everybody make it safely? Look at us. 4th live stream of the day. Wow. We're getting it done today, you guys. This is breaking. They're not even ready yet. We didn't even miss a thing. Fate of Menendez brothers, soon to be announced. Mark Garagos is there. I expect that the district attorney of LA will be there, George Gascón. Thank you all for coming with me. It was a bumpy ride, but you made it. You made it here. Oh, that's right. You have to hit the like button to get on your way in. It's the way they do things here on the YouTube world and the YouTube land. This is crazy. I never thought I would see this day. I'm assuming they have some announcement to make about whether or not the Menendez brothers are going to be released. Remember, they've been in prison for 34 years. Right? I know it's time for a snack. Mark Garagos getting it done.
And also their family members who have called on them to be released. It's really a monumental moment with this case, spanning all the way back to 1989.
1989.
So we hear that they're setting up
Very
some
good
papers
year.
to the podium any moment now. We're about 5 minutes behind from this was scheduled to start. So really momentarily, we should be seeing
If they start on time.
DA step up to this podium and finally announce what we have been waiting for, which is if those brothers will be resentenced, if they may get a new trial, or if they will be sent home. The family members and the attorneys, we have heard them saying that they would like the brothers to be home in time for Thanksgiving, and that
Will, do you want to come on?
could very well be a possibility. However, we have to wait and see what the district attorney finally has to say about this. The decision expected today, again, on whether Eric and Lyle Menendez will be resentenced or get a new trial.
1989 was a really good
Just going to
year.
linger on this shot for a moment here. We do have this other one that we can see kind of closer to the door, the entrance from where we expect the district attorney to be walking through any moment now. And there on the right side of your screen, just some footage that we have from back in the day, the brothers in their first trial in the 1990s. We also had some footage of the parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, who were killed. Now, both of these brothers admitting to that, but really the question now is, was the time served sufficient for the crime? And this is in light of the new evidence that is being looked at really with a different lens. When we discuss sexual abuse against boys, it was something that wasn't paid too much attention to back when the brothers first went onto trial, but now there has been a renewed call for that. Kind of focusing here, I'm not sure exactly which family members these are, but you can see people being consoled there. Everyone is.
We watched the first press conference together, and many of the family victims, the The victims' families spoke on both sides, both Kitty's family and Jose's family, all in support of them being released, which is unusual. You don't see that very often. There was a woman who came up, I forget her name. She was in her 90s, I think. She was adorable. And it's coming out. The family knew there was something going on. Family knew that Jose was abusing these boys. Rosie O'Donnell has also been a very vocal supporter. Kim Kardashian came out. Not that either one of them matter at all in the grand scheme of things. But they do have a lot of celebrity support, a lot of public support. And there's been a movement since the Ryan Murphy series came out, Monsters, and also the new documentary that came out. Was it Kitty's sister? Yeah. Their aunt, a couple of their cousins came out. Who are you booing? Kim Kardashian? That was Kitty's sister. And they've been in separate prisons all these years. They just were moved to the same prison not that long ago. Yeah, Sandy. Even if they're released, nothing can turn back the clock. They lost their youth. But I guess the question is, have they done their time? Have they done their time? First trial ended in a mistrial. Hung juries for both. They each had a separate jury. They were tried together. All the evidence of the SA by the father, Jose Menendez, who was a big wig in the record industry, was allowed in. Second trial, none of that stuff was allowed in, and they were both convicted. It was a different time.
Has to do
when people did not want to believe that boys could be SA'd. They didn't think it was possible. People didn't want to hear it. They didn't let it in. That's why they were convicted. You were booing Rosie and Kim. Yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah, not that either one of them really matter, but they have celebrity support too. There's a lot of pressure on Gascón, right? Is it an election year for him, or is it coming up? Some people say no, keep them in prison. Kitty's brother is the only one against the release. Iris Figs, more than enough time. Phoebe, they've done fabulous things while in prison. Let them out to use their talents. I think both of them have gotten married in prison. I think one of them has been married twice since he's been in prison, because there's certain women who are attracted to prisoners. There's a name for that. You guys know what it is. Hybristophilia or something such as like that. They've done their time. Let them go home, says Lee. Glare can. He's got plans. Thanks, Marcy, for becoming a member. Thank you, Ashley, for becoming a member. Appreciate you guys. Let him out. Jenny Grace, I handled all the cases for the victims of the Catholic Church scandal, or many of them, here on Long Island when that scandal broke back in 2002, here on Long Island, the Rockville Center Diocese.
There's Eric and Lyle Menendez.
The original scandal broke 2002 in Boston. Remember the movie Spotlight? Those were the cases. So I know. That's why when I speak on these cases, I'm speaking from experience of working with victims and survivors of all kinds of horrific things, not just child SA, DV, other victims of all kinds of things, a voice for the voiceless, people who don't speak out, can't speak out.
Be released. Let's pump up the audio and see what's going on at this moment.
She's telling people to turn off their cell phones. Many people never tell. By the time they do tell, if ever they do tell, oftentimes the statute of limitations has expired. Nobody will go to jail, and welcome GSD expertise. Nobody will go to jail. Nobody can be sued. That's why you see a lot of states, including the state of New York, which we lobbied for something like 15 or 17, almost 20 years to have the law changed in New York. That's why you see a lot of these lawsuits against P. Diddy being dropped now, because the 1-year window, which was extended during the panny, we can't say the real word on YouTube, they don't like it. The 1-year window was closing, and that's why a lot of those lawsuits against P. Diddy and others that were old dropped when they did. See, Abby and Rosie's mom never told, and she's now 63. And that's why when we covered these cases, they're so difficult to cover because so many people don't understand. They're like, well, Madeline Soto, if she was being abused by, what's his name, Stephen Stearns, she definitely would have told someone. The mother definitely would have known. It's not necessarily the case. Some people keep that secret their entire lives. They were 18 and 21.
Also has some not so bold predictions for the Menendez brothers because
we're doing our own commentary. We don't need to listen to that person. Anyway, they were 18 and 21. It's a horrific story. Crunchy Frogs thinks they're two psychopaths. They should stay in prison. Exactly right. Exactly right. Alternate juror says you take out the essay, and of course they were convicted. It looked like a cold-blooded murder, right? And they've been in jail for 34 years. If they were tried today, would it be different? Would the sentencing be different? Mark Garagos has predicted they may be out by Thanksgiving. He had said that before the last press conference, though, right? These things always start late, but that's okay.
As we're waiting for this decision to finally be announced in a case that has really garnered national attention and has kept the public's interest for quite a few decades. Most recently, we have seen that Netflix did release a new series based on this entire case. And it's really kind of renewed the interest for people who maybe don't remember it from back in the 90s. It was a big story back then. So many countless documentaries have also been based
Let them
on this
out.
entire case as
Let
well.
them out. What? A $450 super chat, super sticker. Holy crap. Thank you so much. Izgalok Sue. They get another chance, it might have a positive effect on other prisoners. Some of the healthier ones might behave good instead of acting like nothing to lose. Thank you. Super generous of you. I appreciate you, like more than you know.
Yes. Sorry, just wanted to pump up the audio to see if we can hear maybe if we're going to get more of a set time. Going back to this other vantage point of inside the room, you can see really how packed this house is.
It's happened today, but I think you'd probably rather listen to me than her. So I'm going to talk instead. And then when Mark Garagos and or George Gascón come up, we will turn on the audio. I just can't get over the generosity of this viewer. Aizgalaksu, thank you so much. Oh, it's foreign currency, so I don't know what that is. So I'm sure it's super generous anyway, regardless. Thank you so very much. And Sumo, thanks for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate you. And Barbara, thank you for your super sticker. This is our 4th live of the day today. We are on it, you guys. We are on it. This is Turkish lira, not too much. It's okay. I'm like, this is the 4th live stream today. We did Sarah Boone this morning. And then we did Karen Reed's appeal brief and the other filings. And then we did Sarah Boone's afternoon. And then we cut it short to jump over to here. You know why? Because we're spontaneous like that. And I love you anyway, no matter what. $5, $1, $2, just being here is my present. You, my friends, shop through my Amazon link. It costs you nothing. Just buy all your usual Amazon stuff. The link is in the video description or the show notes, as they say in the biz. And yeah. Cajun Kool-Aid was about to stroke. He's like, who would give you $450? Amen, sister. All my sisters in the chat. That's hilarious. Oh, thank you, Christy Misty. I mean, you guys, we've been hanging out all day today. It's kind of like we just hang out like friends all day and chit chat, right? Isn't this fun? Sunny drop. If not for OJ, the second trial would have been more of the same of the first. LA needed the win. You're right. I think you're right. A lot of people have theorized that. Hello, white paint. Hello. Courtney, thanks for gifting a membership, and whoever was randomly gifted by YouTube. Welcome. Mike and Nam. He knows me. You know me, Mike. You get me. You see me. You understand me. Some call it spontaneous. Others call it ADHD. We call it fun. The pivot. We have mastered the pivot here. You guys are like, this is coming on. Can you do it? I'm like, yeah, give me a second. I'll set it up. Boom, boom. We teleport over. It's like magic. It's like the magical mystery tour over here. Let's call it that. The magical mystery tour is coming to take you away. That's right, Brooklyn Paysola. If you were going to hire me, it would be more than $4.50 an hour. Where else can you get free legal advice? Nothing that I say here, Brooklyn Paysola, is legal advice. Please do not misunderstand. This is all my own personal opinions, commentary, not legal advice. But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Okay, 34 try equals $1. Either way, super generous. Love her regardless. Thank you. The suspense is killing me too, Pinky. Pinky and the brain. Look at this. See, Aaron's like, I'm alone all day, so it's nice being here with all of you. It's like a bunch of friends just hanging out all day. And the way you guys support each other in the chat and have made friends in the chat is amazing. Kindness never fails. Cherry wouldn't want to spend the day having coffee with other people. No, no, no. Hello, Tabby. It is a great way to spend the day. It gets boring when we talk about the same thing all day. If you're frozen, just refresh your browser. It happens sometimes. It's not me, it's you. Suze, you have 2 horses running in the Breeders' Cup next Saturday? Tell us the names of your horses, and maybe we should go bet on them for you. We'd like you to win big. We'd like to win big too. So any tips you have, please feel free to share. Pop-Tarts, Christy's new snack. And we were disagreeing on Sarah Boone today. Many of us in the chat, but you guys are so respectful to each other that it was a good day. It was a good day. It was a good day here in Cupcake Nation. It was a good day. Fun day Sunday. What's today? Thursday? Thirsty Thursday. Do the brothers get to watch this, or did they already know what's being said? I don't know. We don't know if the DA is going to come out and just say, the governor is pardoning them. We don't know. Or if he's going to say we're agreeing to have them resentenced under new guidelines, new trial. We don't know. This is going to be, we're all sitting on the edge of our seats with bated breath. Suzanne, I don't think you can take anything in this case in isolation because these boys grew up wanting nothing materially, but lacking so much emotionally and socially. What we see as excessive spending. Yeah. I mean, that's the way they tried to spin this, that they were cold and callous and all they wanted was the money. Right? What are we thinking? I don't know. I would like to say, let them out. Let them out. Let them out. So many people do so much less time for so much worse things. I mean, are there still people serving like 100 years in prison for selling a dime bag of marijuana? Or did we get all those people out based on the current laws? I don't know. Sharon is the president of our Rage Crochet Club. If anyone would like to rage crochet, it has commenced. I will allow it. Hey, Matt. From Down Under, for the record, on the record, let the record show, it is in fact spiffy, legal, mumbo jumbo, talky stuff. And I'm sure you smashed the like button on your way in. Haven't seen you in a while. Haven't seen you in a while. You don't think Newsom is pardoning them? Not cupcakes? Not cupcakes? Are you saying you're not a fan of my channel? Is that why you made that name? We're going to keep an eye on you. What's the matter with all of us? What do you mean? What do you mean? KPT says, I love being able to express my opinion and not be attacked. Sometimes this chat makes me look at this differently. That's right. There's a lot of differing opinions in here. And people learn a lot from other people in this chat who have experienced such things as childhood SA or DV or severe neglect, and abuse. Lori, Life 360 for the win. Your teleporter broke? I don't know. Most of the people got over safely. I'm sorry, honey. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. YouTube is glitchy all the time. Thank you, Courtney, for gifting a membership. YouTube is glitchy. Oh, I think a lot of us watched the trial in real time. Did you watch the first trial, Evil Queen? Did you watch the first trial when all of the evidence about the essay that was inflicted upon the brothers when they were raped for years by their father was allowed in the trial? Did you watch that trial where it was a hung jury? Or did you watch the second trial where none of that evidence was allowed in? I'm just curious which trial you're talking about because there was 2 trials.
Brothers have been in prison for about 34 years. So Lyle, just 21. Eric was just 18. And you can see here on your screen a picture of their parents. It's Kitty and Jose Menendez, who both brothers were convicted of killing back in 1989 in their Beverly Hills home. Now, the brothers back then, they had said that Jose Menendez had sexually abused Eric Menendez for years. And that is part of some of the new evidence that the district attorney's office was going to be looking into.
Right,
The
like
district
other
attorney
victims
in
of
George
Jose
Gascón
Menendez.
telling that
The kid from Menudo who came out and said Jose Menendez raped me too when he was in the boy band Menudo.
earlier his media office was split on the decision, but we just saw there that the Associated Press is reporting from an official that is closely connected to this case and has been in the room for that prosecutors will be seeking a resentencing. Back out live here to a picture out in the room as we continue to wait for this decision. Now, I want to re-rack some of this new evidence that the DA's office said that they were going to be looking into. So one piece of that evidence was a letter that Eric allegedly wrote to his cousin, Andy Cano. According to the brothers' attorney,
We looked at that letter.
Cano's mom,
Andy Cano is now sadly deceased, but the letter said, it explained the abuse and what had happened to them.
him about his father's abuse when Eric was just 13 years old. Cano did die back in 2003. Now, the second piece of evidence that was being reviewed was a sworn statement from a former member of the Puerto Rican boy band Menudo, who claimed he was abused by Jose Menendez as a teenager. Last week, nearly 24 relatives of the brothers held that joint press conference calling for the release, and we have heard their attorneys say that they would like the brothers to be home in time for Thanksgiving. Now, given the decision today that we are seeing, the Associated Press is saying prosecutors
for the love of the
do want the
traveling
brothers
Mary,
to be
really?
resentenced.
Evil Queen
We
says
will-
they were not abused by their parents. That's what they were saying. They wanted to just to have the money and spend it freely without having to do anything. I'm going to question if you've watched the statements of the family, both Jose and Kitty's family, who came out and said that they knew there was an unspoken rule not to go anywhere near the bedroom when Jose was in there with the boys. This was known. It was known. And Rosie, I'm going to call you out too, because I don't know why you're still watching my channel, because it's almost like you just come in here to cause trouble. Like it's ridiculous. Like you come in here to disrespect everything that I say and do, and it's like, why do you still come here? Just go to a different channel.
Testimonies from the brothers, some of the witnesses,
Free, set
and then
them
most recently
free.
we have seen that Netflix released
Second
their
trial
own
wasn't filmed.
series
Thanks, Emmy.
focusing on the Menendez brothers called Monsters: The Lyle and Eric Menendez Story. And we know that there is also an upcoming documentary in which the brothers will tell their side of the story as well.
This case is from 1989, Anthony
So
P.
still we
You
have
why you don't
two
know.
vantage points here inside of the room. We have this one kind of facing diagonally off to the side. And then we also have this one.
See, they didn't televise the second trial, so a lot of people don't even know what had happened. And what had happened was they didn't let any of the sexual abuse evidence in, and they were convicted. So we're going to see whether the decision has been made by the DA to do a resentencing, to agree to call it time served. We'll see. I have hate corrupt. I have helped many Many, 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 many victims / survivors. Some people prefer to be called survivors. And I respect that. Evil Queen, if you don't like it here, then you're free to go to it somewhere else. You can go to like Law and Crime and watch it. I mean, I don't know. People want to be relevant now. Who wants to be relevant? There are some people who actually believe that boys can be raped by their father. There are some people who actually believe that that is a possibility that can happen, and there's lots of evidence. See? Look at Lisa is 56 and never told and won't ever tell. So you just might be in the wrong. Maybe your name, Evil Queen, maybe it's appropriate. Maybe you should go somewhere else because Block Island is really nice this time of year. Some people just come in here and want attention, right? They want attention. And they want to just rile up the chat, right? I know. Oy vey, do your research. Right, Linda. I remember when it happened, but only knew what the mainstream news reported. Back in the 80s, it was not common. Men don't always speak up. I know. It's like it's like, you know who they are. You know who it is, right? Jersey Devil Jersey. It's people from other cases that come in here with other names and they just try and get everybody riled up. Matt's been busy adulting and stuff down under. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for coming back and spending more time with us. Nora's so nervous about the press conference. Loves me. I love you too, Nora. Love you too. See, we jumped ship from Sarah Boone and came over here for this, and we're just waiting. Hurry up and wait, Mrs. Robinson. Thanks for becoming a member. Jerry from Canada says society is society, and we're born into it. We don't get to choose. Preach. Not cupcakes. I got the nickname Cupcakes or Cup You when I was 6 or 7. It no longer works for me, so I'm not cupcakes. Oh, so you're not a cupcake either. That's what that pink sign says. You can't make everyone happy. You are not a cupcake. And I'm a mother of 5. And there's never a time when all 5 of my kids are happy at the same time. That's been my mantra since I was a mother. I'm not a cupcake. I'm not a cupcake. I can't make everyone happy. Would the family know the decision prior to the press conference? They might. They've been heavily involved in this. When we covered the last press conference, they headed on over to Gascón's office after that and had a long meeting with him. So they've been involved. I don't know. They might. Do you think we can get a tell by looking at their faces? Maybe. Thank you for that, Marcy, for your super chat. Cheyenne Brown, some just need to get the duck out of here. Get the duck out of here. JD Lyon, thanks for hanging around with me all day and for gifting a membership. Thank you so much. Jenny Grace, I've purchased many items on Melanie's Amazon channel that I would normally purchase anyways. Her merch items are pretty cute too. Here's to helping all their survivors. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny Grace, for hanging out with me all day too. For being such a great, ardent supporter of the channel. iPhone search happened. It's very hopeful they get out. Thanks, Melanie, for my favorite channel. Thank you. iPhone search happened for being another staunch supporter. Cassandra for the super sticker. We're just waiting for them to start, you guys. If you're just tuning in, you haven't missed a thing. Not missed a thing. But what you might have missed is smashing the like button on your way in. You might have missed that. So you might want to do that. You don't need to rewind. You haven't missed anything yet except for some chit chat. We're just talking amongst ourselves. Thank you, Jenny, for thanking me for everything that I do. And says Emmy, who's been with me for 10 months. Wow, Emmy. Thanking me for covering so many different cases. We're ready to pivot on a moment's notice. Kay Willis, the realtor. Thanks for the 10. Says, thanks for your hard work. I started watching with the Karen Reed case. Being from the South Shore of Massachusetts, I've been following the case. Welcome. Is that where you are a realtor? Plug your business while you're in here. I'll allow it. Plug your business. If anybody needs a house, wherever Kay Willis is, look her up. Is that? Oh, I look like Kim Kardashian, but it's not.
A conclusion that has really been decades.
She's Kim Kardashian-esque, but it is not Kim Kardashian. Unlike the reporter who is on Fox Live right now, I have no problem filling dead air. I can fill it. Michelle Monaghan, thank you for your super sticker. Nancy, hi Nancy, thanks for the 5. Can you tell me generally why the evidence was not allowed in the second trial? It seemed so unfair. Different judge, different rulings. Imagine what a different trial the Karen Reed trial would have been if it were tried by, let's say, Judge Dewey K. Arthur in Mississippi that we watched for the Carly Gregg trial, or Judge Michael Kranick that we are watching now try the Sarah Boone trial. Different judges make different rulings and can result in very, very different outcomes. Thank you, Nancy. Sadie said, those boys didn't have a record. They were not in trouble with the law. God's property is praying the decision will be a resentencing for the men. I'm not putting that volume up until actually somebody hits the podium. There's a lot of press there waiting, twiddling thumbs. Hopefully they've all turned off their phones because they were supposed to start 33 minutes ago. Rubicon says that his second judge was hell-bent on prosecuting them. Yeah, I think that's right. That's part of it. They needed a win after OJ, right? Michelle Fannin, thanks for being a member for 4 months. Says I'm praying they let them out now. Oh, Sharon's been here since the beginning. 12 months. One of the OGs. Love all your coverage. Best. Thank you, Sharon. DK chiming in with some additional facts from the second trial. The AP is reporting that LA prosecutors want Menendez brothers resentenced. That's the headline right now, so we will see. DK says because Lyle made some statements after the first trial saying he had the jury in his hands, they decided not to call him to testify, so a lot of his testimony didn't come in. Cherry, Ghost of the Galleria, says, unfortunately, it was a lot less of an enlightened time, and the judge didn't believe boys could be SA'd, so he believed they were faking it, right? Yep. Why don't press conferences ever start on time? I don't know. I think that's kind of a rhetorical question, right? CM Libby is also from the South Shore of Mass. Says Melanie's my go-to as soon as there's breaking news about Karen Reed. We did that already at lunchtime if you missed it. Already done. Checked that box off. Okay. Redirecting people to other streams, not a great idea. Not exactly smiled upon by the YouTube gods, but thank you for letting us know that other things are happening in other channels. Michelle's praying they let him out now. I think I already addressed that. Yes, the judge in the Alec Baldwin case was amazing too. She was amazing. She was really good. Oh, you were the 1,000th like Radine. I feel lucky. Sco Buffs. Those Buffs spanked Arizona last week. Yeah, we need another win this week. We need another win. I think if we win this one, we're eligible for a bowl game. They went to the Orange Bowl. I'm a CU alum, DU Law School alum, and they did go to the Orange Bowl back in the day. I forget what year it was. Early 90s, I think. Lady Guinevere says there's no amount of money in the world that could make me cover up SA on my children. Yeah, I mean, look, they're claiming now that Kitty knew about it. She didn't do anything about it. Lacey says the parents were evil. The lady with the white hair is Kitty's sister. Thank you, Sadie. MLC is talking about the judge in Sarah Boone. Yeah, the fact that he lets the students shadow him. Yep. He's got a bunch of law students sitting up next to him, like flanking him on either side of the bench, watching the trial. They're part of the mock trial team at the law school.
This remains overwhelmingly
at the law school where he teaches. And they are getting a front row seat to the Sarah Boone trial, which has taken a hard right turn today, as far as I'm concerned. The state's expert witness flipped. It was like she was a defense witness today. Right, you guys? Did you feel that way too?
running a about 35, almost 40 minutes behind.
Here he is. This is the DA, Gascón. Shaking hands with the
And
family.
then also on your screen there, you do
His
see the
sister.
Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascón. So let's go ahead and pump up the audio. It seems this press conference
Okay, you
is
stop
getting
talking
started.
then. Here we go. No, they were not adults when it happened. They were starting at the age of 6 when it happened. It went on for years.
Okay,
Thanks,
good
Howard.
afternoon, everyone. And before I begin speaking, I want to also introduce some other people that are here with me, and I hope I'm pronouncing the names right because I've seen handwritten part of it. But I have Ana Maria Barat, Jose Menendez, Jose Menendez, and niece Karen Vandermolen, and Katie's niece. They're all here with us. Also with us here is Brock Lunsford. He's the Assistant Head Deputy for the Post-Litigation Conviction Unit, and Nancy Cervier, who is the Deputy District Attorney in charge of the Resentencing Unit. Let me begin by telling you that this is a case where we've had many people in this office spend a great deal of time reviewing the case. I have to tell you unequivocally that we don't have a universal agreement. There are people in the office that strongly believe that the Menendez brothers should stay in prison the rest of their life. And they do not believe that they were molested. And there are people in the office that strongly believe that they should be released immediately and that they were in fact molested. I have to tell you that after a very careful review of all the arguments that were made for people on both sides of this equation, I came to a place where I believe that under the law, resentencing is appropriate.
Wow.
And I am going to recommend that to a court tomorrow.
Wow.
What that means in this particular case is that we're going to recommend to the court that the life without the possibility of parole be removed and that they would be sentenced for murder, which, because there are 2 murders involved, that would be 50 years to life. However, because of their age, under the law, since they were under 26 years of age at the time that these crimes occurred, they will be eligible for parole immediately.
Eligible for, wow. I got
The
chills.
teams that have worked on this, on the resentencing side of it, have spent literally probably hundreds of hours by now looking at this case. These cases were originally presented on the habeas side of it, which I'll explain in a moment what that is, last year.
That's right.
And then the request for prosecutor-initiated resentencing occurred earlier this year. And there have been people in this office working in these cases from the very beginning, as well as many other cases that we have. The reason why I'm here today and why I came in front of all of you about 10 days ago is because there was a more recent documentary about the case that again brought a tremendous amount of public attention. And we know there have been other documentaries, so this is not the first, this is a more recent one. And frankly, our office got flooded with requests for information. And even though this case was already scheduled to be heard in late November, I decided to move this forward because, quite frankly, we did not have enough resources to handle all the requests. And one of the things that I thrive to do in this office is to be very transparent in everything that we do. In this case, we review the prison files. And you have to understand that the way the process works, when you're talking about a resentencing under the law, it really focuses not necessarily on what the original crimes were, but it focuses on, has the person been rehabilitated, number one? And number two, can they be released safely into their community? Under that rubric, since I've been in office, we have resentenced over 300 people, including 28 for murder. Only 4 have reoffended. If that was a regular recidivism rate in this country, we would be the safest nation in the world, but we know that it's not. In fact, somewhere between 40 and 50% of the people that go to prison reoffend and get rearrested. And that's why we have so many problems. However, when you look at the case of the Menendez brothers, you see 2 very young people. One was 19 and the other one was 21 when they committed these horrible acts. And I want to underline, they were horrible acts. There is no excuse for murder. And I will never imply that what we're doing here is to excuse that behavior. Because even if you get abused, the right path is to call the police, seek help. But I understand also how sometimes people get desperate. We often see women, for instance, that have been battered for years, and sometimes they will murder their abuser out of desperation. And I do believe that the brothers were subjected to a tremendous amount of dysfunction in the home and molestation. But they went to prison for life without the possibility of parole, which meant that certainly under the law at that time, they had no hopes of ever getting out. They could have done what many other people do, which is basically said, you know what, I'm here for the rest of my life, so I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to misbehave, I'm going to join gangs, I'm going to live the life of the prison. But they never did that. To the contrary, even though they didn't think that they would ever be let free, they engaged in a different journey. A journey of redemption and a journey of rehabilitation. And often the people that begin their journey of rehabilitation and redemption in prison is often very internal. And what they do, and one of our lawyers pointed out this today, is usually the path is people try to further their education, do things for self-improvement, which the brothers have done, by the way. But it's more unique or less usual, I guess, when people not only do that, but they also begin to engage in ways to make life for others better. And in this case, the brothers have been doing so for a very long time, creating groups to deal with how to address untreated trauma, creating groups to deal with other inmates that have physical disabilities and may be treated differently. Even in one case, Lyle negotiating for other inmates as to the conditions that they live under during prison. And all this was done by 2 young people, now they're not as young, that had no hopes of ever getting out of prison. They have been in prison for nearly 35 years. I believe that they have paid their debt to society, and the system provides a vehicle for their case to be reviewed by a parole board, and if the parole concurs with my assessment, and it will be their decision, they will be released accordingly. I must underline, however, this case will be filed in court tomorrow. The final decision will be made by the judge. Court has to agree with my conclusion that they deserve to be resentenced. It is very possible that there may be members of this office that will be present in court opposing the resentencing. and they have a right to do so. And we encourage those that disagree with us to speak, and the court is the appropriate place to do it. We certainly feel we're very sure not only that the brothers have rehabilitated and that they will be safe to be reintegrated in our society, but that they have paid their dues, not only for the crimes that they committed, but because of all the other things they have done to improve the life of so many others. So again, we will be filing for resentencing tomorrow. We're seeking that they would be sentenced to life with the possibility of parole, as opposed to life without the possibility of parole, which is they currently have. That means that they would have 50 years to life because there were 2 murders. But because of the age upon which they were convicted, under 26, under current law, that means they're eligible for youthful parole. I think there is also important to have some introspection today, because I think that often, for cultural reasons, we don't believe victims of sexual assault, whether they're women or whether they're men. We saw in our first trial, which, by the way, they were tried twice. The first trial hung, meaning the jury could not come to a conclusion. And in fact, about half of the jury wanted to convict them of manslaughter, which, if that were have been the case, they would have been off prison a long time ago. And then there was a second trial, and then they were convicted of murder with special circumstances, which led to the life without the possibility of parole. But it's salient to understand that our own implicit and sometimes explicit bias around sexual abuse and sexual assault often leads us to severe injustices in our community. And I want to speak to those that are victims of sexual assault now, whether you're a man or a woman. Know that we're here for you. If you're a victim of sexual assault in this community, and by that we're talking about LA County, not just LA City, you can come for help. Whether you're prepared to prosecute or not, we will be here for you. We have services for you. And if you're prepared to move forward with the prosecution, we will evaluate it as we do any other case. And if we believe that the evidence is there to present a credible case in front of a jury that can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, we would proceed accordingly. You do not have to suffer alone. You don't have to keep it to yourself. And help is here unconditionally.
It's nice
I'm
that
going to
he's
say a few words in Spanish because I know there's tremendous amount of interest from the Spanish media.
it's nice that he's encouraging other victims to come forward.
And I know that there are going to be other speakers today,
I mean, it's good.
and then we're going to open it up for questions. Primero que nada, quiero dar las gracias a todos por estar aquí hoy.
Right.
I'm going to just mute this for a second because I think most of my viewers understand my English. So Michelle got chills. Can't believe this. Feels this is the only way to make the whole situation right. There's going to be some other speakers, so we'll stick around for that. DK, thank you so much for $50 super chat. Our society felt boys couldn't be SA'd. I'm not a boy. However, unfortunately, I knew they could. I believed them. I watched every minute of the first trial. Lawmakers, TV personalities, and media made fun of the boys. This decision is right and just. Thank you, Dee, so much for your support. Thank you to the Goodmans for gifting a membership. And this is a great point, too. And this is another point that Gascón made, is that they completely changed their lives in prison, helping others. They've done a lot of good work since being incarcerated, and they didn't think they were ever going to get out. They thought that they were never going to be even offered parole. They were sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Do not pass go. Do not get $200. You're never going to have a shot. And they did all these things to help other people despite that. So I think that says a lot. Probably worked in their favor as well.
This case against the Menendez brothers.
So she's got it muted too, and she's talking. So we will go back to that. Resentencing, it would go back. They're going to make a motion to the judge. And they're going to give all their reasons and all their legal arguments of why they believe that they should be resentenced under the guidelines for youthful offenders because they were 26 years old at the time that they committed the murders, in which case, under current law, they would be eligible for parole now and would be able to get out right now. I don't know if anybody's going to oppose the motion. Then it would be up to a judge to decide whether or not they can be resentenced and released immediately. Let's go to the chat. Yeah, Jersey Devil Jersey, not just exemplary, but helping others. He said that they have started groups to help other trauma survivors in prison and also people with special needs. They've done things to help them and to help the other prisoners. And so, yeah, a lot of good deeds in prison. I wonder if their aunt will speak. She makes me cry too, says Marcy's iCloud. Why does this guy sound like Ernie from Sesame Street? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Cherry says, as someone who was unable to be strong enough to go after my own essays perp, I held what they did as totally believable. I was on their side from day one. Yep. I think they both are still married. I think one of them got divorced, the one who's on a second wife, I think. But I don't know if you guys know. You can let me know.
Is that they should be resentenced. And it is.
All right, if you're just tuning in, this is the District Attorney of Los Angeles, George Gascón, who says that people in his office are divided. Some people think they should be let out right away, the Menendez brothers. Some think that they should stay in prison for the rest of their lives without parole. These boys were convicted in 1989, and Gascón is recommending that they be resentenced under current guidelines because they were under 26 at the time of the murders of their parents, in which case they would be eligible for parole. He's going to file the case. He's going to file it tomorrow. And he says that next step is it is up to a judge. And we're waiting for some more speakers, maybe members of the family. Maybe Mark Garagos will get up. He's been fighting this fight since 1989. Elizabeth says, I also remember the media and personalities making fun of them regarding boys being essayed. Sad. Yeah. Christy says, I bet they get released and still help others. Thank you, What the Duckling, for thanking me with a $5 super chat for the full day of lives. Been lurking all day and appreciates me. Thank you, What the Duckling.
After that 50-year mark, but they do have time served. It seems we have other speakers stepping to the podium. Let's pump this audio back up and listen in.
I would also like to acknowledge the other family members here, some standing, some seated. Joan Vandermolen is here, Kitty's sister, as well as Diane Vandermolen Hernandez, Kitty's niece. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Today is a day filled with hope for our family. We are here because District Attorney Gascón has taken a brave and necessary step forward by recommending a resentencing for Lyle and Eric. The DA's decision reflects the truth that is hidden for so long, and I am grateful for his leadership in making this choice. We stand united in our hope and gratitude. Together, we can make sure that Eric and Lyle receive the justice they deserve and finally come home. Thank you to District Attorney George Gascón for his courage and leadership. This step gives us all hope that the truth will finally be heard and that Lyle and Eric can begin to heal from the trauma of their past. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Maria.
Yeah.
I believe Jose Menendez is going to say a few words.
This is the niece of Kitty
Oh, you didn't
Menendez,
say, I'm sorry.
Joan Vandermolen.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steph.
Hi, thank you for coming. We are here today because District Attorney Gascón has taken a brave and compassionate step forward by recommending resentencing for my cousins, Eric and Lyle. And we wish to offer our deepest gratitude to DA Gascón. This decision is not just a legal matter. It is a recognition of the abuse my cousins endured, and we are grateful for the DA's leadership in putting justice over politics. We know this wasn't an easy decision, but is the right one. This is about truth, justice, and healing. It is time for Lyle and Eric to come home. And I ask all of you to join us in this fight for justice. We stand united in our hope and in our gratitude. Together we can make sure that Eric and Lyle receive the justice they deserve and finally come home. Thank you again to District Attorney George Gascón for his courage and leadership. This step gives us all hope that truth will finally be heard and Eric and Lyle can begin to heal from the horrors of their past. We hope this will also shed light and increase awareness and help others who have been victimized by sexual violence. Thank you all so much for being here today. We are grateful for everyone's support.
That's right, KPT. Justice for the boys would have been to have both the parents in prison.
Okay.
They probably would have been out in
And I
10.
apologize. I'm reading notes here and I'm trying to understand all the notes. Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain, so you go tomorrow, you file a case for resentencing, then what happens after? Are the brothers gonna be there tomorrow, and when is the?
All right, she's asking, I'm going to repeat the questions because I know how hard it is for you to hear them. She says, so you're going to go file the case tomorrow, so what happens after that? Are the boys going to go with you, and then how long does it take?
Role with the parole board going to come in?
Right. And you know what? I'm going to actually have the people that are handling the case walk you through all of it. The brothers will not be there tomorrow. The role of parole board comes later. But Nancy, why don't you walk everybody through?
Okay,
Yeah.
so what we'll do is we'll file our,
Say your name, ma'am, your name and your title.
my name is Nancy Thaberge. I'm the deputy in charge of the resentencing unit. This is Brock Lunsford, Assistant Head Deputy of the Post-Conviction Litigation Division.
Wow, she's the deputy in charge of the resentencing unit. I think the judge is going to take her opinion pretty seriously.
So what will happen is tomorrow we will file the actual petition requesting resentencing with the legal arguments and accompanying exhibits as to why we think it's appropriate. It's just a filing. No one's going to physically be in the courtroom. From there, we'll also serve the defense with our motion and our
papers.
paperwork so that they'll have their copies. And from there, we will coordinate with the defense to set up a court date with the court so that the petition can be heard. Now, whether or not that's a setting or a hearing will be decided between us and the defense and the court once everybody gets an idea of what we filed. Then from there at the hearing, the defense can either decide to have the defendants, the Menendez brothers, physically brought into court. They can ask that the individuals appear by video or audio WebEx, kind of a Zoom participation, which we all kind of adapted to because of COVID. And then from there, we will do the hearing and submit all the written and legal and oral arguments and any evidence that needs to be admitted at the time. And then the court will rule at that point. But we don't have that court date yet because we're just starting the process tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's our intention to have that go forward before the habeas, because if the judge grants it, that may impact the defense's decision to proceed on the habeas. So we're gonna try it just as a matter of economy of time to stack it one before the other.
Now, have the brothers found out about this in real time, or were they told about this beforehand?
Have the brothers found out about this in real time, or were they told about this beforehand?
Or what was their reaction?
What was
No,
their
this
reaction?
was-
This is actually the family was only invited to come. They were not aware what the final decision was.
There's the
until
answer.
A few minutes ago. The brothers may be actually seeing you guys on TV or social media, but no one knew other than a very small number of people in this office.
Maybe they're watching us.
And by the way, I should tell you that actually the final decision was just made about an hour ago.
They just made the decision an hour ago.
Right, then it goes back to the prison system, and then the parole system takes over that. That's good.
Would there be a parole or probationary period? Would they have to live in a halfway house or simply be released if they're allowed to be released?
You know, those
Would they
are
have to be released to a halfway house, or would they just get to be free?
really completely entirely up to the parole board. Please, we'll try.
You had mentioned all that made the final decision. You said the final decision was just made. Was it the letter? Was it the Menudo confession? What was it that?
The Menudo confession. What made your decision an hour ago? What was the final thing that made your decision?
No, what it was is I was evaluating the arguments that were being made within my office, both pro and against the release.
CA, can I ask you?
Hold on, I had
mentioned
it-
a lot
I
of
had
phone
it.
calls from
Yeah.
people that.
I'm, you know, you have made resentencing a cornerstone of your tenure as district attorney here in Los Angeles. There are
You've made resentencing a cornerstone of your tenure here in Los Angeles.
some people who have accused you of using this very, very highly publicized, clearly case to use it for politics, given how close we are to
Yeah, people say that they think it's political. You're only doing this for political reasons.
the election. What's your response to people who have?
What's your response to those people?
There's nothing political about this. We have resentenced over 300 people, including 28 for murder. And we will continue to resentence people in the future. And that's all I can tell you.
But do you question? But
Yes,
how
sir.
has your bid for
Excuse me,
re-election
please.
been?
You're interrupting.
Everyone's
He's being
interrupted.
really
I'm just
loud.
wondering how your bid for re-election.
Yes, please. Yes.
Could the brothers be home by Thanksgiving?
I don't know the answer.
Could the brothers be home by Thanksgiving? That guy's trying to hijack the press conference by shouting over everyone.
Why did you decide not to go with the reduced voluntary manslaughter?
That was part of the process
Why did you decide to not go with involuntary manslaughter?
that I was still going through up until a couple hours ago. I don't believe that a manslaughter would have been the appropriate charge given the premeditation that was involved in the murders. I believe that these were clearly murders that were premeditated. Now, the motivation, that's where, differences of opinion come up, but I don't think it would be appropriate to go all the way down to manslaughter.
DA,
Yes,
has
ma'am.
your bid for re-election impacted
Would you
your
please
decision?
stop? I am not going to talk about re-election, okay?
Okay, so
If you want to talk to re-election, go outside, we'll talk.
I mean, this guy is really trying to hijack the press. I don't know. I don't recognize his voice as a reporter that we know. If anybody does, let me know.
Talk later, please.
Relax.
It's a fair question. No, it's not. It is a.
I'm sorry, you're interrupting, sir.
Be respectful.
They
Please.
should have to escort him out.
Pues depende, como estaba explicando la abogada, la encargada de esta unidad, la corte.
We're a little bit behind.
You're about to file. Next, if you are no longer in office, what happens to this case? Could a potential successor
Well, if you're no longer in office, what happens to this case?
undo what you're about to file?
I don't think so. Once it's filed. It's up to the court to take it from there.
Hmm.
You mentioned.
Yes, I'm sorry.
In a parole situation, obviously you have policy since you're obviously supporting the push for release here. How would that work with people from post-litigation? Is that the big go for the parole court to argue for the release? Or that-
No, we have a policy that we only send victim services advocate if the victim or the victim's family wants that support. We don't send lawyers to our parole boards to relitigate a case. The parole board is fully aware of what the initial crime was, the crime that led to the conviction. Their work is primarily to evaluate whether they're rehabilitated and safe to be released, and that will be the way here.
Can you break down the timeline for us? Can we expect a hearing by the end of the year? Do you know when?
Can you break down the timeline for us? Can we expect a hearing before the end of the year?
Nancy, we don't.
I'm hoping to get it on calendar, depending on the defense preparedness. I'd like to see it go to hearing probably within the next 30 to 45 days at the most.
30 to
Because
45 days.
there's not much to argue. because we're kind of a collective.
Okay, there's one more question, please, but related to the case, not to elections. If you want to talk about elections, we'll do
Related
that.
to the case.
Yes, sir.
What would you like to say right now to Eric and Lyle Menendez?
What would you like to say right now to
What would you
Eric
like
and
to
Lyle
say?
Menendez?
To them, and it's we, because it's not I made the final decision, obviously, but we have a whole team that worked on it. We have a family here that wants to be reunited, is that we appreciate what they did while they were in prison. While I disapprove of the way they handle their abuse, we hope that they not only have learned, which appears that they have, but that if they get reintegrated into our community, that they continue to do public good. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. I wonder if here goes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, you just heard it there.
All right. That's the end of that. Thanks for hanging in there with me all day today, you guys, my friends. Thank you so very much. 30 days to 45 days. And they could be looking at getting out relatively soon after 34 years. And I agree with you, JD. If anybody thinks that this move is going to give Gascón a 20-point bump and win this election, you're giving this way too much credit. Gascón did the right thing on his way out. It's great to see. I agree. People who hate Gascón are not going to all of a sudden flip their vote and vote for him. So to those people who say he only did this for votes, I completely disagree. But I do believe that he is doing the right thing. And thank you so much, Sherilyn, for the Cash App and for thanking me for spending my days with her and her 10-month-old, and for Elizabeth, who gave me some matcha latte on my way out. Peace, my friends. It has been a very, very crazy busy day, and I hope that all of you enjoyed it all with me. What a day. We saw some really, really great stuff today. Really great stuff. It's crazy, crazy. Smash the like button on your way out. Thank the moderators on your way out. They make this a great place for all of you to hang around with me all the time, every single day. It's been this week, sometimes multiple times a day. Do all the YouTubers things, like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that nice stuff that YouTube likes and helps the algorithm. Share the stream out, all that stuff. Invite people to come and share their days with us. I'll see you tomorrow for more Sarah Boone. Peace, my friends.